Hey, welcome back. I was gonna talk about today. I had another. I'll save this for next week, but I had another anxiety thing. Like I was remembering when I was a kid. I'll save that for later. Um, I was just thinking in the break about how this move for me is going pretty smoothly, and it's because I have some money saved. It's amazing how much stress you can avoid if you have like a little bit, like a couple extra $1,000 saved. Because you're like, okay, a stressful thing for me could be like this apartment I'm living at now. They have to find a new tenant, so I might have to pay a couple extra months for the lease to run out. But I'm like, yeah, it's a couple $1,000. I have some money saved. Who cares? And I got job security now with this government job. As long as I don't screw it up somehow, I'm gonna have this job for a long time. At least probably 10 years. Or at least 5 years for sure. So I'll be getting the steady stream of income. Don't have any kids to worry about, or a wife or anything. I mean, a wife doesn't cost, I don't know. It's not that much money to have a wife, but kids are a money sink. You can't make a profit off your kids, unfortunately. Unless they become a football player. Maybe I shouldn't have come down here. Oh no, I'm good. Yeah. That's why I don't know. I've got to give away more of my money. I got too much money. I got to give some of it away. I don't give that much away right now. I give maybe 2% of my income. I really should give away 10%. $4,000 a year. What am I gonna do with it? I want to buy a PlayStation 5 or something. When I could be helping people like me who are moving, but they don't have that extra money. So they're like, oh. Well, what I do is I give a little bit of money to this charity that's like a food bank thing. Which is good. But it's amazing how much stress you can avoid just a little bit more money. If I just had a little bit more money, I could avoid. And I have to hire this moving company, and it's gonna be $2,000. But I'm like, whatever. I'll just do it. What else am I gonna do with that money? Invest in Bitcoin, probably, and then lose it. I have invested in Bitcoin. Have I talked about that? It's the ETF called Block, BLOK. A lot of people are saying that okay, it's kind of a smart long-term investment. It does seem to me like it is. Bitcoin seems like it's going to be around for a while, and I gotta get on that money train while I can. And I've already made. Well, I bought in when it was at $47, and now it's hanging around $50 per share. And I've made $3 per share. I won't say how many shares I bought, but so when you have extra money, you that's why capitalism can be frustrating sometimes, because it's people who have money just make more money by investing, not doing anything. Your money just makes more money. It's kind of annoying. And if you're poor, there's no way to get out of that. You can't invest any money because you're using your money for food. You can't invest in Bitcoin. Can I eat a Bitcoin? No. Can't even hold a Bitcoin. It's so funny how whenever they show Bitcoin online, it's the shiny gold coin, and it's like a person holding a shiny coin, like, ooh, look at this because it's so valuable. It's not a Bitcoin, that's just a piece of gold you made. I don't think you can buy Bitcoins. Like actual physical coins. Right? That wouldn't make any sense. That kind of defeats the purpose of the whole thing. You gotta buy those Bitcoins. And I put money in the S&P too. But like, you kind of have to be an idiot right now to lose money on the S&P because it just keeps going up. I talked about how I felt like the S&P was going to crash soon, so. But then it'll go up again. Probably, like it always does. Or we'll have the thing happen like in Japan, but nobody really thinks that's going to happen because we got Amazon here. So we'll be profitable forever. My hubris. We'll never not be making money. Give me that. Somebody just texted me about Dak Prescott. Okay, what's my note for today? My parents are the best people. I want to talk. I don't know. You guys know that song "Rude"? It's annoying. I gotta stop the texts. I was thinking about that song "Rude" because the kid I'm training was singing it because I was like rude to him once. I've always hated that song. I want to talk about why. The song, from what I remember, is about this guy who wants to ask a girl's parents if he can marry the girl. And then he goes, like, he wears a suit or whatever to the dad's house, and he's like, I really like your daughter, can I marry her? And the dad says, no. And it's always like, why you gotta be so rude? Wait, where's my note? I don't know. I guess this is another thing to remind myself, like, alright, let's put it on my knee so it stops buzzing. If I ever get married, which I don't know, I probably won't. And the parents are still alive, I would ask the parents. That seems like a good idea. People are like, it seems like when people do it now, it's just kind of a formality. And they think, oh, the parents will really like if I do this. But obviously if they say no, I'm not going to listen to them. I'm still going to marry the person. Like the rude guy. He's just so whiny. Why are you going to be so rude? So, the reason why I think it's a good idea is if I'm marrying the girl's parents, I want the parents to be okay with it. And if they're not okay with it, I don't know, it's easy to say this now when I'm not in the situation. But if the parents are like, no, we don't like you, you smell, you're weird. Okay, then that's like, okay. But still, okay, that's a different, who's gonna say that though? Okay. So, it's a good opportunity before you marry somebody to be like, okay, let's air it out right now. Is there anything that worries you about me? Like, oh, I don't have a job, and okay, like if I got a job, would that make you feel better? Would that make you... What is it about me that worries you? I want to know. And if it's nothing, then great. Then we'll get married and be happy. And you can't get mad at me later. Like, tell me the truth. Do you think I'm a weird person? Like, do you think I'm gonna murder her or something? Like, what can I do to assuage you? Is there some kind of awkward interaction we had in the past that you're worried about. I could explain maybe like, oh, I have social anxiety and I'm weird sometimes. Let's talk about it. Like, I never hurt anybody, so don't worry, like, I love your daughter, whatever. But, like, I don't love her too much, where I might murder her if she finds out that I lost my job or something, and I'm too embarrassed to tell her. You don't have to worry about that. Like, are you worried about it? What can I do to make you not worried about it? I want to know. Because, like, you are, I mean, it helps to have empathy in that kind of a situation and be like, if I had a daughter and this weird dude comes and is like, I like your daughter, I think her face is pretty, can I take her away forever and you'll never see her again? You'd be like, no, you can't do that. I don't like that. Kind of no, right? But like, okay, if that's what my daughter wants, she wants to marry you, okay. She's an adult, it's her decision, whatever. But don't be the whiny guy who's like, you asked the question. Now, this is the thing that always bothers me. It's like, you asked the question. You asked to marry, like, is it okay if I marry your daughter? And he's like, no. And then you're like, oh, I'm going to marry her anyway. Then why did you ask the question? That's frustrating. You're just trying to be like, you thought this was going to be like a thing where, oh, you went and he said yes, and oh man, you're so nice for asking me. I can't believe you even asked me. You're such a good person. But like, no, if you're going to ask somebody a question, then the answer can be no, when you have to not just be a whiny baby about it if it is. And be like, okay, why did I ask this question in the first place? Did I just ask it as like a formality to appear gentlemanly? Or did I really care about what the parents thought of me? That's why you should ask the question, right? It's easy. It's always easier to be me and to never go out in the world and to just comment on it and be like, oh, if I was married, this is what they talk about in Anna Karenina with Levin. Like, oh, how can you bicker with your wife? Like, you love her. Shouldn't you just be nice to her all the time? Then once you get married, it's like your wife's turn to do the dishes, and she didn't do the dishes, and now the dishes are gross, and there's like a fly on them, and you're like, honey, you didn't do the dishes. I understand that it's easy to just be me and to just comment on things. But if I can solidify these thoughts now, it'll be harder to go against them later if I ever do get married. And be like, remember how you thought about this before? What's changed? Has anything changed to make you not do what you thought was a good idea before? The only thing I could think is like, well, what if you talk to the parents and like, you're ugly. We don't like you because you're ugly. What would I do in that situation? Like, we don't want you to marry our daughter because you're ugly. Your face is just gross and weird and we don't want to look at it. If that was the case, I guess I would go to my wife and be like, does it bother you that I'm ugly? Because it bothers your parents. And she'd either say, no, you're not ugly, or no, it doesn't bother me, you are ugly. And if she was like, no, it doesn't bother me that you're ugly, then I would tell the parents, like, well, it doesn't bother your daughter, so it shouldn't bother you. I don't know. That would be an interesting situation, but I would try to think about how to deal with it. I wouldn't just be like, oh, I'm gonna marry her anyway, you're stupid. Even though they are being stupid. But that's like the 1% of things. Like, if I really like the girl and she's like a good person, then her parents are probably decent people and they probably have a good reason for not liking me. So if it's a good reason for not liking me, I want to address that. I want to be a better person. Right? I don't know. It's easy to say this now. Another thing, I was like, but I really feel like I wouldn't marry somebody unless I'm like 100% sure that I really like them a lot. Because I lived 28 years. It's going to be like 30 years of my life without a girlfriend. I can do 30 more. I can figure out how to live my life without a wife. I just don't want to be one of these people who gets married to somebody who they kind of like. And they're like, oh, we'll like each other more later. And it's like, no. Eventually they have a kid and then it's like hard. Oh, we got to do all this work. And then they don't like each other anymore. It's like, no, I need to be like, I guess it doesn't have to be 100%, but like 99% of the time we're clicking and we know what each other needs and we know how to help each other, how to make each other feel better. And if we're not doing that, then why would I marry that person? Just extra stress. Anyway. See you tomorrow.